Well, the real estate and tourism industries were among the hardest hit by this ongoing health crisis. How can these sectors catch up now that restrictions are beginning to relax? Let's get some insights from Landco President and CEO, Erickson Manzano. Mr. Manzano, thank you so much for joining us on The Final Word. First of all, did this pandemic impact the upscale real estate development business, which you basically focus on?
Yeah. Well, okay. Firstly, Rico, thanks for having me here. No, I appreciate being here. Now, to answer your question, yeah, it did. Back in March 2020, during the start of the lockdowns, year on year, back then, June 2020, we were down 40% versus 2019. And then for some reason, on the second half of 2020, things picked up. And they continued to pick up until 2021. No? I think, so there's a big possibility that we might end this year with our, top one, top two best sales in our entire 30-year history. So yeah, things have picked up quite a bit.
So if it's picked up quite a bit during the pandemic, have prices already reached the same levels from pre-pandemic?
Well, I don't know about the other developers, but in our case, we didn't even reduce the prices. So it's the same. We actually increased the prices January 2021. And so we're going to do it again January 2022. So annually, we increase prices. So I guess the pandemic has affected the developers differently. I guess for the upscale developments, it's not that much affected. Although I understand that, city condominium development, they're struggling a bit. No? But, I foresee a rebound sometime next year.
So what is basically your advice right now to investors who are seeking real estate opportunities? Have they missed the bandwagon? Or is there still opportunity for them to get in and buy property?
Oh, yeah. Well, definitely, buying property is always, it's ever present. There's a good time, there's a bad time, it fluctuates the price. But I think, now is the best time to buy property is really 20 years ago. And the second best time is probably today. Because, especially land, in accounting terms, does not depreciate. And if you look at, historically, like for example, one of our early projects, Punta Fuego, when we launched that in the mid-90s, that was like 4,000 pesos per square. Now, properties are changing hands in Punta Fuego. The last transaction I recall is about 60,000 per square. So, it's. I don't think people are too late in buying property.
And looking now at the tourism sector, restrictions, Mr. Manzano, have begun to ease, and the industry is slowly gaining lost ground yet again. And you have quite a number of properties around the country, from Calatagan to Laya, Samal Island, and you mentioned the Punta Fuego in Batangas. Do you see an influx of tourists into your properties over the next weeks and months?
Oh yeah, well definitely. Actually, when these latest restrictions, when tourists were allowed to come to our properties, we were like fully booked last weekend. Of course, we follow all of the IATF protocols. So I really see, like for example, when things are back to semi-normal, I see domestic tourism really shoot up. There's a lot of pent-up demand. And, Rico, maybe a lot of your viewers aren't aware. In the past 100 years, this is already the 9th pandemic. The 9th. Okay. And, starting with the Spanish flu, where 2.5% of the people at least died living back in the 1920s. Now, you barely remember the last pandemic, and this COVID is already the 9th. So it shows that people are resilient, and you cannot bottle up that need for relaxation to take care of your mental health. So I believe once that the restrictions are kind of loosened, domestic tourism will shoot up. Yeah, admittedly, maybe international tourism might take a while, but domestic, right off the gate, I think it's going to shoot up. So I think my advice for some of the tourism and the hotel industry is just to survive this. There are good times coming soon.
Yeah, survive, but there are also a lot who don't have the same kind of financial muscle or deep pockets like Landco. So what would be your advice to the small property developers who are struggling right now to be able to see this crisis through?
Yeah. Okay. So again, the initial step is really to survive this pandemic. Now, in any business, it's really just revenues and costs. So if your revenues are coming in slow, you have to manage your costs, and that's really the only way that you could survive this. Yeah. So I guess, yeah, just survive this pandemic, and like for example, so we had a relatively good 2020, and we have a fantastic 2021, and we survived 2020 by really cutting down on the costs. And then I was telling my team, that discipline of surviving, of achieving a lot with less, that discipline should be carried with us moving forward to the good times. So I think it's really a business and financial discipline on how to manage your costs. You just have to match it with the revenues. There are numerous ways on how to do that, but it's gonna take too much time.
Thank you so much for your insights on the real estate and tourism industries. Landco President and CEO Erickson Manzano.